What if I told you that in just 200 days, this webinar funnel generated $996,210 at an average ROAS of a 4x? Meaning, when we gave Meta $1, it gave us back $4. If you're still using outdated webinar funnel methods, you're leaving a ton of cash on the table, or worse yet, you're killing your conversions without even realizing. So in this video, I'm going to break down the exact 3-step framework that transformed this funnel into a money printing machine for one of our clients. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to copy it and scale your business faster than ever. What's up, everyone? If you're new to the channel, my name is Marc-Anthony. I'm the co-founder here at scalingwebinars.io, and we help coaches, creators, and consultants scale their business past $100,000 per month, generating over 7 figures in revenue for their business. So if you're here watching this channel, all our videos are dedicated to helping cool people make a lot more money. So if you're a cool person, sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. So step number 1 is understanding the exact webinar funnel process that we use. So most webinar funnels fail because they burn cash up front without a way to recoup it. And using our system, it's so unique because we recoup ad spend early. That means every single high ticket sale on the back end is 100% profit. The old outdated method, just to book a call on a webinar, right, and hope someone just shows up on a sales call and buys, doesn't work anymore. Using our strategy, the webinar covers the ad spend, making you 10 times more profitable on the back end. So the best businesses are actually built on the back end. So most people, they try to be front end profitable with their business, meaning that I just want to make all the money on the front end. But because of the landscape of coaching businesses, info products, digital products, that's not feasible anymore when running ads. If you want to be profitable for your business and scale, you need to learn how to build a business back end to front end. What this means is that every single sale on the back end makes your business more profitable. So the front end product is just used to drive revenue, to bring in more customers into your business, because everyone knows a customer is worth more than a lead. And a customer is more likely to repurchase a product from you over and over again. So you constantly want to figure out a way and ask yourself, how do I introduce more back-end offers? That way, my business can be even more profitable than my competitors. Before I tell you the exact webinar funnel I use to generate about $1 million in just 200 days for one of our clients, you need to understand why mid-ticket is even working right now. So a mid-ticket product is created to introduce the market to your product or service and give the audience a smaller result than your high ticket product. The thing about mid-ticket products that's so powerful is that it transforms someone from a lead into a buyer. And a buyer is worth 10 times more than a lead, as I just stated earlier. If you get more buyers into your ecosystem than leads, you can then upsell those buyers into existing back-end offers, making your business more profitable. This allows you to outspend your competitors. So this is a concept that's used in big corporations such as brands like Starbucks and Sony, PlayStation. All these guys, they just outspend their competitors. And the reason they can do that is because they understand a concept called LTV, lifetime value of a customer. It's famously said that Starbucks has an LTV at about $17,000, meaning one customer would transact $17,000 with Starbucks over the course of their lifetime. Because Starbucks, just like our clients, they have intro offers, such as, let's say that a customer goes to Starbucks and they see a cookie. They buy the cookie. The cookies are like $2. Starbucks is probably barely profitable on those cookies, but where they are maybe most profitable on is what? Drinks, some other products that they have. So because a customer came in there, they bought a cookie, they bought a drink, they come back, they're gonna buy another drink. They come back, they're gonna buy another drink. They give Starbucks $17,000 over the course of their lifetime. Starbucks can now afford to pay thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to acquire that customer into their business. So their competitors literally stand no chance. This is how you blow all your competitors out of the water, and competition is meaningless to you because you know your customers are worth more than theirs to you. This is why we love to build our clients' businesses back end to front end. And here's the exact funnel we ran to generate about $1 million in just 200 days. Let me show you how I did it. Okay, so our funnels look something like this, right? So there's a page, okay? Let's go page, right? And let's call this opt-in. So this opt-in page is where we capture name, email, and phone number. It's a standard opt-in page. Pretty much everyone has an opt-in page like this, right? Now, after an opt-in page, standard lead capture page, it goes to a thank you page, okay? What some people have between this transition point from an opt-in page to thank you page is they have a bridge offer, okay? Now, a bridge offer is usually a $27 to $97 offer that helps liquidate the ad spend, liquidate the front end costs, okay? So we do that with some of our clients' accounts. However, what we've noticed is, I haven't seen this talked about a lot, is sometimes when you do this, it directly impacts show rate. Why? Because the next step, this thank you page, let's call it TYP thank you page, this is one of the biggest needle movers when it comes to show up rates, okay? And because there's a page in the middle of it, this blocks traffic. So now instead of 100% of people seeing the thank you page, only let's say 60, 70% of people end up seeing the thank you page, okay? So we'll split test it with client accounts to see, okay, does this bridge offer right here impact show up rates? If it does, we choose to rely on the webinar conversion in order to liquidate our ad costs, because obviously it's the highest leverage vehicle instead of playing around with a $27 to $97 offer from what we've seen. All right. However, I do recommend using this if it does not negatively impact your show rates. This is 100% one of the best ways in order to liquidate your front end costs on your webinar. All right. So after the thank you page, on that page is a standard VSL, right? Where the client's gonna talk about next steps. Hey, watch out for your email. Hey, these are the reasons why you should show up to your webinar. A lot of people, they forget that, especially if people are coming from ads. These people have never seen your face in their life before. What the heck is gonna make them show up? So you have to actually sell them on showing up to the call in the first place, right? So you bring back their pains, you bring back their desires, and tie that into what they'll find in the webinar. So they have to show up to the webinar in order to get their desires met, which could be making more money, which could be living a better lifestyle, which could be taking care of their family, etc., etc. Okay. After the thank you page, then they get sent some standard emails and then text messages. Let's do text message bubbles. All right, text message. All right. So they get sent emails and text messages. Okay. Leading up to the webinar. All right. So in my last video, I really covered more about emails and texts, what to say in them. I called the email sequence the indoctrination sequence. So if you want to watch that video right here, click right here and watch that video, right? But this is not about that. This is about the mid-ticket product. All right. They show up to the webinar. Okay. Now these people who show up to the webinar, if you have a good webinar, it's going to be about 20% to 30% show rate. Okay, if you have a really good webinar. Now, this is where the magic happens, right? This is where the mid-ticket sales cover the ad spend, all right? So for this specific funnel, all right, we sold a product for $597 on the webinar, all right? So I recommend $597 on the low end. You can go lower than that. I've seen $297 being sold on webinars, but you just need to sell a lot more, obviously. But we like $597 because as you start increasing ad spend, it doesn't mess up with what we like to call unit economics. But $597 to $1497, that's really where you want to play with your pricing range. And obviously, increase your price, play around with your prices to see how it negatively impacts front end conversions and back end conversions during the upsell, okay? Now on this webinar, we spend about $20,000 a week, which is about $80,000 to $100,000 every single month that we're spending, okay? Now out of this $20,000, on the front end, we're making about a 1.2x return, okay? 1.2 to 1.5x return, meaning that we're breaking even and we're profiting a little bit. I know some people watching this be like, dude, what the heck? Why in the world would you run that type of funnel? You're not even making any money. Well, this is why. Like I said, entire purpose of this is to get more buyers into our ecosystem that we can upsell on the back end. Now, this is where the real magic happens. So out of all these buyers who buy the 597 product, all right, we get about 35 to 40 buyers every single webinar, all right? So let's go 40 buyers. When someone buys our program, right, then they get redirected to a page where we congratulate them on their purchase and we ask them to book an onboarding call, okay? So let's call this onboarding call. This onboarding call is with our sales team and we genuinely onboard them into the program. So this is where a lot of people go wrong. So they just view this as an opportunity to sell them again. We view this as an opportunity to, one, ask them, why did you buy the program in the first place? That gives us more ammunition in our marketing on our front end messaging to get more people to purchase this product right here, because that's the entire goal of the funnel. We want to get more people to purchase this front end offer, right, to upsell more back end buyers. So our sales team bring all these people into the program, introduce them to what they just purchased, walk them through the purchase. Then it's a natural conversation to the sale where our sales team will then make them another offer, okay? It's just like if you were to go to McDonald's and they ask you, hey, would you like to make your order a large instead of a medium? It's a conversation like that, okay? So if you actually want that script, let me know. I'll have our head of sales make a video about that, how we use a specific script to upsell people into our back-end offer, okay? Out of the people who booked that onboarding call, we get an 85% show rate. So out of 40 buyers, about 35 or so will be on the call. 35 people will show up. And then out of these 35 buyers, 30% will then be upsold into the back-end product, which is $4,500, all right? 10 people end up buying the $4,500 offer. So what happened was about a $22,000, let's call this front end cash. So with this funnel, we generated $22,000 in front end cash every single week. And then in back end revenue, when 10 people bought, that's $45,000 on the back end. This webinar spending $20,000 end up turning into, what is this? Let me see if I'm good at math, guys. $67,000, which is a 3x return on your capital. This is how you play the game. You build your business on the back end. How many of these buyers can I get to buy this product? The more people you can sell on the front end in order to buy your product on the back end, this is how you win the game. Because let me show you this now. You see, Facebook works on a bidding and auctioning system, meaning you're bidding with your competitors for your customers. So like I just showed you, with this entire funnel, you're able to generate $67,000, right, off $20,000 in ad spend, which means that you can now spend more on the front end to acquire a customer because you know that 30% of them will buy on the back end. Since you're bidding against your competitors, okay, if this is your pool of everyone that's inside of your target market and you and your competition are bidding for all of these different eyeballs, okay? Let's say your competition can only afford to pay $300 for a buyer because the way their business works and their unit economics, they can only afford to pay $300 for a buyer. But you know, okay, I can pay $600 for a buyer because I'm willing to break even on the front end in order to make my business work on the back end. Where these people right here, they're trying to be front end profitable or first order profitable. That's something that, shout out to the e-com guys, that's what they try to do, right? With their first order profitable on their orders, okay? For their e-com stores. But because you have built your business on the back end, you understand I can pay more for these customers. I'll pay $600. And now Facebook is going to give you access to more of these people because Mark wants more money. Shout out Zuck. This is how you win in business. You outbid your competition, forcing them to pretty much decay and die. It's like blitzkrieg. You're just taking all of their customers away from them, paying Zuck the most that you can afford to pay for them. And all your competitors are just obsolete. This is what we used to generate $1 million in 200 days for one of our clients. And this is how you can scale your business as well using this exact funnel. But this webinar funnel is practically useless because if you don't understand how to do the next step properly, this is where a lot of people mess up at. And this can literally be the difference between making $1,000 and $1 million in revenue. So step number 2 is to maximize your attendance. Your funnel is only as good as the number of people who actually show up to your webinar in the first place. Think about it. Even if you have a funnel that's been perfectly optimized for sales, none of that matters if only 3 people show up. And for a lot of you guys, this is the difference between having a 100K per month business and where your business is right now. So let me tell you guys a story about a business that I had audited, all right? So back in the pandemic, they were running webinars in 2020 when pretty much everyone was selling info back then, right? You could make money while you slept during the pandemic. There was stimulus checks out. You didn't need any kind of skill to make 100K per month. So they were running webinars back then and they were making $300,000 each month from their webinars, getting about a 40 to 50% attendance rate on cold traffic from their webinars. But a couple months back, they noticed that they couldn't crack 20% attendance rate and their revenue dropped all the way from $300,000 to $100,000 that they were pulling in every single month. So we got on a call with them and what they thought was that it was their audience. It was the offer, okay? That no one was buying in this specific niche. It was an Amazon coaching program. They thought no one was buying Amazon FBA info anymore. And I told them that that was not the case because there are huge people in their space that are actively running webinars every single week, making a ton of money. So when we audited his business, we found out a couple of interesting things. One, he wasn't even sending out text messages at all. So he was just relying on email and his organic audience in order to get people to show up to his webinar. Posting constantly in a Facebook group that he had, which is a common practice that I commonly tell people to create some sort of engagement trap. So whether that be a Facebook group, WhatsApp group I've seen, Instagram broadcast channels, in order to trap the traffic that you're getting from cold traffic into a housed place that you can communicate with them through the webinar. But that's just not enough anymore. So this is what we told him to do. This is a pro tip. I can't even believe I'm giving this for free on YouTube right now. But I got you. I love you guys because you guys watch my videos. So this is what you're gonna do. I told him do this before each webinar. Go live 10 minutes before your webinar. That's it. And obviously send text messages, right? But the real boost came when he went live 10 minutes before his webinar. So he would get about 300 to 400 people to join his live 10 minutes before his webinar, and what would he do? He would just tell everyone from his Instagram, all those people who came to his page from ads, hey, I'm having a webinar in 10 minutes, guys. I'm hanging out here for 10 minutes just to tell you guys a little bit more about it. Click the link right here and join the webinar, or go to my bio, join the webinar. I'm going to be revealing how to get started with Amazon FBA, how you can become financially free. This soared his attendance rate back from 20%. It didn't get all the way up to where it was in pandemic years at 50%, but it got it back up to 35%. And he was able to take his revenue from $100,000 to $250,000 just implementing this one system. Optimizing for your attendance rate is super important. So here's how we get a 20 to 30% attendance rate, even with cold traffic. So these are some steps that we do. Obviously, I just gave you a huge one for free, which is to go live 10 minutes before your webinar, but you can do a couple of other things as well. So we have a 6-step email sequence that we send out. So all of these emails, we call it the indoctrination sequence. And I spoke about this at large in one of my videos, the indoctrination sequence. So pretty much this sequence is just used to what it's called indoctrinate people into showing up to your webinar. You're gonna talk about your story. You're gonna handle objections before your webinar even begins. So what we recommend is that you take sales call transcriptions that your closers or that you've taken, throw it into AI, and ask AI, what are the top 10 objections that my target market is giving my closers on these sales calls, okay? And use those objections and handle them inside of your emails. So the biggest objections that are by far given across most niches is fear. So a fear of objection could be them not personally having the skills enough to do it, a fear of them failing. These are big objections that we face. Time objections. So now is not the right time. I work a full-time job. I can't do this with a full-time job. Time objections. And there's always money objections. I don't have enough money to do this. It's too expensive to do this, right? These are the biggest objections that you could just take away from this video and throw them into your indoctrination sequence, all right? So after the indoctrination sequence, we hit people with text messages, of course. And you guessed it, we also have a 6-step text messaging sequence. And what here we use engagement bait. So what is engagement bait? We try to get them to engage with us before the webinar even begins. This is asking them questions. This is right when they register. Ask them, hey, send me a thumbs up if you got this text. Just getting them to engage, to remember who you are. Because again, people don't remember what they had for breakfast. They're not going to remember to show up to your webinar, all right? So you constantly have to be top of mind every single day in front of their faces in order to get them to show up to the webinar. Now, the very last tip that I will give you, obviously I gave you the go live, but this last tip that I will give you is called RVMs. So what an RVM is, it's a ringless voicemail. You're able to send a voicemail to everyone who registered for your webinar to get them to show up. All you have to do is make a quick voice note and then congratulate them on the decision of registering for your webinar and telling them to make sure to show up at X, Y, and Z time. This right here can increase your show up rate 5 to 10% alone. RVMs are very powerful. I don't see a lot of people using them. So make sure that you're using RVMs as well. So if you want me and my team to personally set this entire system up for you, like I've done for many of my clients, making them over $100,000 per month with our strategies, click the top link in the description and apply to work with me and my team. But now that you understand how to get the webinar set up and how to actually get people to attend your webinar, let's talk about the most important step, which is step number 3. Step number 3 is to structure your webinar correctly. Your webinar format determines if people buy on the spot or they leave with zero intent to purchase at all. Most webinars fail because they focus on just selling, which kills trust. So when you walk into a car dealership to buy a car, are you more likely to buy a car from the guy who feels more trustworthy or the annoying one who keeps begging you to buy a car from him? Me personally, and I'm sure a lot of you guys as well, I'm going with the guy who feels more trustworthy, which leads me into the first step of structuring your webinar properly, which is the introduction. The introduction of your webinar needs to be structured like this. So the introduction of your webinar needs to do 3 things, okay? So it needs to build authority. So tell people why the heck should they sit here and listen to you for 60 to 90 minutes, all right? So build authority, okay? Create trust. Creating trust is you want to identify with their situation. So identify with their current situation, where they're at right now, okay? So this could be you talking about their problems that they're currently facing right now and their desires. Where the heck do they want to go? All right. And the last thing that you need to do is show proof. Just like I've done in this YouTube video showing you these screenshots of my clients who have made a lot of money, right, using our systems, you'll need to show proof that what you're teaching actually works and people need to actually listen and care what you have to say. So show proof in the introduction of your webinar. The next step after you show proof in the introduction is the content portion of your webinar. This is the teaching portion, okay? What are you going to show them what to do? This is the result, okay? And a lot of people have mixed feelings about the content section. Should the content section actually give everything away? Should you gatekeep a little bit for the pitch? What we say is the content section should be so good, they should be able to leave the webinar and do everything by themselves. Now, why the heck would I say to do that? The truth is 95% of the people who watch your webinar are not going to do exactly what you're teaching without your help. However, by you injecting so much goodwill into the marketplace, showing them exactly how to get the desired result that they want, you're going to convert a lot more. So the introduction has steps. So what are the steps that it takes in order to get the result? Introduction has more proof, okay? So more proof of people using the content, more proof of them using what's taught in the content section in order to get the result. And the last part that's in the content section is selling them on the vehicle. So whatever the vehicle that it is that you're using, whether that be real estate, trading, maybe you're teaching people how to lose 10 pounds with keto, maybe you're teaching a person how to get a girlfriend, all right? So why is your specific vehicle, your specific mechanism, what they should listen to in order to get the result? You need to sell them on these three things in the content section, okay? The next portion of your webinar is the transition. The transition is essentially building momentum to the pitch. You never want to go from the content section to the pitch because it feels like a rug pull. Shout out to the crypto guys, straight rug pull, okay? So you're just giving all goodwill and then asking people for money. No, so you want to build momentum towards the pitch. So during this section, when you're building momentum towards the pitch, you're going to remind them of everything you taught to them inside the content section. What does this do? You're reminding them of all the goodwill that they've just received from you. Hey guys, I just taught you how to do X. And in this section, I taught you how to do X. This section, I taught you how to do X. You're reminding them of all the goodwill that they've been given from you, which activates the law of reciprocity. The law of reciprocity states that people are more obligated, or they feel more obligated to give to other people who give to them, okay? And the more you give, the more you get. Now, after the transition section is the close section. Now, the close is when you pitch. This is everyone's favorite part. This is where the cash starts coming, baby. So in the close section, what do you know? There's more proof. There's the offer that you're presenting, all right? And there's risk reversal. Now there's more elements in the close section, but these are the three that I found move the biggest needle. Proof, so the who, so who has gotten this results? The offer, this is the what. What am I getting with this purchase? The risk reversal, this is the why. Why should you buy this now? Well, you're buying this now because if you don't get results in the product in 30 days, then we'll continue working with you for free. Whatever your risk reversal is, I suggest always having one. Sometimes, I will give a caveat, if your offer's so good, sometimes you don't even need a risk reversal because the offer is so good, all right? But always have the who, the what, and the why in most of your webinars, right? And using this formula, the close, the transition, the content, in the introduction, you'll start making a lot more money with your webinars. Now that you have the exact framework that our clients have used to generate millions of dollars with webinars, you have two choices. One, just keep doing what you're doing. Risk your funnel slowly dying out. I mean, I'm not gonna stop you. Or you can copy this strategy step by step and watch your revenue scale predictably. So if you would like help setting all of this up for you, the exact funnel, the exact process that we use in our clients' businesses, just click the link at the top of the description to apply to work with my team. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. If you got value out of this video, share it with a friend, share it with your clients, right? If you're a marketer, that way that you guys can make even more money with your webinars. Love you guys. Peace.